Columbus Day is back. President Trump made the surprise announcement yesterday, reversing one of Biden's proclamations on this subject. Truth Social, Trump wrote, "I'm bringing back Columbus Day, back from the ashes. The Democrats did everything possible to destroy Christopher Columbus, his reputation, and all of the Italians that love him so much. They tore down his statues and put up nothing but woke, or even worse, nothing at all. Well, you'll be happy to know Christopher is going to make a major comeback. I am hereby reinstating Columbus Day under the same rules, dates, and locations as it has had for all of the many decades before." President Biden was the first president to issue a proclamation marking Columbus Day instead as Indigenous Peoples Day.
Meanwhile, some are also pointing the finger at Trump for changes being made at the African American History Museum. The museum returned 2 artifacts to civil rights activist Reverend Amos Brown. Brown described one of the artifacts, a book Reverend George Washington Williams wrote in 1880, as a precious and most historic book and the first history of the Negro race. The museum told NBC Washington that the loan agreement between them and Brown expires in May and that returning the artifacts are standard practice.
Trump had signed an executive order in March to reshape the Smithsonian institutions. He said that the museum had come under the influence of divisive, race-centered ideology. The Smithsonian denies that, however, and the 1960s Woolworth lunch counter was leaving the museum, denying that that counter is leaving the museum. The lunch counter was where HBCU students held sit-in protests after they were attacked, denied service in a whites-only section.
And apparently now that lunch counter is going to stay. That's
Yes.
the latest with this, so lots of back and forth here. The reality is, Robby, is that you can't erase history. And that's what this...
Isn't that what the liberals were doing, erasing Columbus?
Well, in terms of erasing history, when we're talking about removing artifacts out of the museum, if we're talking about the museum, trying to make sure that things are whitewashed, that they are glossed over when you're talking about things like slavery and the transatlantic slave trade and things that happen in this country that many may not be proud of, but the reality is that they happened. Columbus Day is celebrating, so that's also part of what the Indigenous Peoples Day, what they are, backwards of that definitely say is that, this day we were here and Columbus came after. And Columbus really ruined much of this for us. And so in the Indigenous Peoples Day, I don't think that we're getting into murky territory when we start mixing up both the museum and then that. But I can tell you that I think that the erasing of history is different. Celebrating is different.
I don't want to erase history. I don't think we're erasing history.
Removing artifacts?
Well, it sounded like it was on loan, and fine. That this guy was supposed to get it back. I don't know the specifics of it. If it's his artifact, he should have it, or if we want it in the museum, we should have it in the museum. I don't care one way or the other. I've been to the museum. It's a fantastic museum. Mm-hmm. The only thing I've objected to regarding the museum was on its website. It had a indeed very divisive DEI type training module that I've criticized on Rising 1,000 times. Our viewers know this one very well by now. The Aspects of White Supremacy Culture by Tima Akun. It is a nonsense, unscientific thing. It did get taken down, I think, after it was scrutinized. It's not part of our history. It's a new activist understanding of how white supremacy is like a toxin you breathe in the air. That's neither here nor there. I do want to talk about Columbus Day. I am a proud Italian American. Columbus is... it
never went anywhere, so by the way, Trump didn't do anything.
Biden declared it Indigenous Peoples Day instead.
Well, but Columbus Day, it's still a federal holiday. I mean, people can choose if they want to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, but with Trump talking about bringing it back, it didn't go anywhere. Like, it's still here.
Let's not pretend that liberals don't care that it has an official designation.
It didn't go anywhere. When he's talking about reverting it back.
And say that Juneteenth doesn't go anywhere if it's not officially...
I'm just saying, he's acting like it went somewhere. It's like, hey, it's there. People can celebrate Columbus Day. People can celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. To your point, free country. Do whichever one that you want. But the reality is, he's not bringing anything back.
Then we don't need to have any government designations of any holidays, and we can all, I guess, just show up to work, and that's fine by me. But
well, I think it's important to acknowledge. No, I think it's important to acknowledge, but you can choose, and there's already many who don't celebrate Columbus Day, and there will be many cities who may not celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. I mean, but it's celebrating what they feel you want to celebrate. So if you want to celebrate Columbus, go ahead. It's a federal holiday. He didn't bring anything back, is my point. He's talking about like bringing it back. He didn't bring anything back. It was never gone.
He's bringing it back. Its official designation is Columbus Day.
It was never gone.
By the way, it was officially it was the origins of Columbus Day was to appease an important immigration immigrant constituency community at the time, which was Italian Americans.
Well, now
We were
there's
once
actually
considered immigrants. Now we're just considered white people for some reason. So now it's not DEI to do this.
Okay. So here's the reality. There's actually a study that came out that said that Columbus may not even have been Italian, that he was Spanish, and that he was Jewish, and that he was hiding from persecution.
I think we should celebrate him even if he was Jewish.
I'm just saying this praise to Italians that Trump said. That's
he's Italian. I haven't read any study about it.
Oh, that's a recent.
He was
recent study.
sailing on behalf of the Spanish, obviously.
Well, there's new material that have come out even in the past year.
Right,
so
why
I think
would
that's.
we? Why?
I think it's an interesting point. Somebody that was hiding from persecution, and then,
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting to learn this new information. And again, Trump praising like all Italians, as if all Italians are rallying behind Columbus right now.
Have you ever seen The Sopranos?
Yes.
This is an important
Look,
episode.
I've been to Italy,
it's
and I love Italy.
discrimination.
And I love Italy.
When
Don't
they
get me
take,
wrong.
actually, it's a great episode.
I love
of the
Italy.
show. The Sopranos is my favorite
nothing
show.
against Italians.
And what's funny when they talk about that, how it's not going to be celebrating Columbus Day anymore. So they're a group of Italian mafia type people sitting around discussing it. And they're all complaining about liberal woke. I mean, they don't call it wokeness because this is like 10 years ago before we started calling everything wokeness. But they're complaining about liberals making everything liberal and not going to celebrate Columbus Day. And then the one guy who's actually from Columbus, the one character, Furio, is like, you know what? I never liked Columbus because he's from North Italy. Northern Italy spit on Southern Italy. It's like really funny. There's the sectarian tensions within Italy are totally condensed by the New Jersey Italian descendants who aren't from there and don't really know the situation. It's a great episode.
Well, look, I'll have to check it out again.
Yeah.
But look, I just think that Trump's bringing up another distraction. That's to me what it is. It's another distraction.
But why wasn't it a distraction to change it to Indigenous Peoples Day in the first place then?
Well, I think that was actually action being taken. That's what I'm saying. Trump putting out a tweet or whatever he was doing to announce this. He's just saying we're as if this is something new. It's not. The holiday didn't go anywhere. So it's a distraction. You're just bringing it up. Another thing to distract people from other things that are very important, like tariffs and immigration and all the things we've been discussing this morning. So I just think it's interesting. It's interesting that everyone's biting on it.
I'm going to have a big piece of pizza to celebrate my culture and the return.
Look, I love Italy. Can you share some pizza?
Yeah.
I mean, just veggie.
All right.
Veggie.
Next up, a surprising ending to 60 Minutes last night after the show's longtime executive producer resigned abruptly. We will discuss.